Family is everything to Steve. He comes from a background of Scottish heritage. Most of his family has red hair, including himself. His mother, Ruth, she's 98, and she is a pistol. She is so much fun. The two of them together on the phone will just melt your heart. He has 3 brothers, David, Randy, and Paul, and then he has a sister named Julie, and his dad, Harry, and they're as close as can be.
Steve, he was the youngest and different from the other boys. He was never mean to anyone. And I don't think he's mean to anyone now either, is he? He's honest, he's fair, gorgeous, generous, treats everyone with respect, and he likes to solve problems. I was a den mother, and Steve started out as a Cub Scout, and he wanted to be in what's going on in the family and among the people his age.
It gave us something to do and something to strive for, and Steve wanted to follow whatever we did, the brothers, and it just, you can't help but change your attitude about life and how you go after things, and which he really went after a lot.
Because of the main things that Scouting tries to instill in children, the rest of his life was much like that. You don't lie to people, and you're honest if you want to be a Scouter.
Steve exemplifies 2 of the Boy Scout duties in a big way. The duty to others. He's always cheerful, has a ready smile, and is very helpful to others, no matter their station in life. He really does try to make the world a better place. And the other duty to self, he has always stayed physically fit, takes care of himself by eating the right foods, and builds his strength through yoga. The Boy Scout slogan has been his throughout his life of do a good turn daily. And he's also, looking at the Boy Scout characteristics, one of the most honest and trustworthy people in the population, probably in the top 1% of the population.
When Dad would come home from work, because he was gone a lot on fires, he worked for the Forest Service for 37 years, he would sometimes see his sons wrestling on the front living room rug, and the boys would be wrestling in there, and then Dad would say to Mom, well, what's Steve doing on the bottom of the pile?
Mom would say, well, he was on the top when it started, and he started it.
He didn't think about being the smallest and the youngest, that they could all get him turned over to suit them, and that's what usually happened.
We lived up in Shaver Lake, California, up in the high Sierras. The only people up there were forestry people and Edison people. And he was actually born with the doctor that worked for Edison Electric. He was the only one that was actually born up there. Quite a deal, quite a place to live.
He had rheumatic fever when he was just about 3, and he was in bed for a year.
His brothers had to come play board games with him or read to him because he was too young to read. But I think that gave him patience and shaped him into who he is also.
He always was interested in reading, so he'd have like a little paperback book. Mom said that he would get the paperback because it fit in his back pocket, so whenever he was standing in line for to go to a lecture or had to stand in line for something, he would just take out his book and start reading, and that was our Steve.
Yes, he was very anxious to keep up with the big brothers. And he did. He always has a love to read.
He was raised in a time and era when money was tight and when there was a Forest Service wage with 5 children. And that's his Scottish upbringing.
When he was working his way through college, he worked for certified grocers where my brother Paul worked. And every summer, and all the boys, all the guys that were working with him would get Paul to one side and tell him to slow your brother down. It's making us look bad. Steve always was very thrifty, But as you can imagine, if he saved all his money working all summer and not on himself just to go to school, that's showing he's very thrifty.
Steve wanted to finish each section of schooling and then go on to the next one and the next until he got through college and then could go out and get a job in the kind of work that he wanted to do.
He went to Riverside City College, right?
Yeah, and then USC for his bachelor's degree, and then Pepperdine University for his master's degree. Finished them all. Both of his kids got doctorates, and I'm sure he pushed them to obtain that high education.
When he first went to USC, wasn't it, that he was looking for the Foreign Service?
Foreign Service ambassador type jobs or the FBI, but he found out that they didn't pay enough, so he went into it, backed up on his math, and which he really was good at, and that's where he started working for Blom's.
He loves the numbers. He's so good at the numbers. He's the reason that our credit union is over $500 million in assets. He brought it from $40 million to over $500 million, and we have over 21% capital. Steve's dad worked for the Forest Service. He was a forest ranger, and maybe that's where Steve's passion for the environment came from. He loves the outdoors, and he is passionate about giving back. So we together at the credit union have done many projects where we put solar panels on the houses of those less fortunate in the communities that we serve. We also did it at our credit union in 2010. We put solar panels on our roof, and we became the first LEED Gold certified commercial building in the city of El Monte. When I think of Steve, I think of excellence. I think of discipline. Steve is the most disciplined person I know, whether it is Taekwondo, becoming a black belt. Once he started practicing yoga, he had to become a certified yoga instructor, which he is. Whatever he does it right, and that's his motto in life. He took up golf. In fact, that's how we met. We got put together in a golf tournament about 20 years ago, and we were terrible. But over the years, he has chosen and put the time and energy in. And his motto, and I think there's a book about it that says if you want to get good at something, it takes 10,000 hours. Well, Steve will put the 10,000 hours in, and he has. As far as yoga goes, Steve is very passionate. He will do a yoga pose everywhere, anywhere. On the golf course, in the lobby, in the grocery store. It doesn't matter. Steve will do a yoga pose anywhere because he's feeling it. He feels it. An asana, that's what they call them. It's something that expresses who he is. He has this childlike quality about himself that he's pure joy. Steve is lighthearted and always ready for a good time. He is so much fun. So our credit union each year, we have an annual meeting. And the meeting portion, this is short, concise, but the celebration goes on for hours. And it's really our opportunity to give back to those who are loyal to our credit union and have been for years. Steve is like a big kid. He cannot wait to give those prizes out. We have over 100 prizes. We draw names. 1 in 7 people win. There's probably 700 people there. And he just loves it. Steve has a son, Marcus, a daughter, Nicole, and a granddaughter, Lucia. And oh my gosh, they are the light of his life. You hear him talk to his children or his granddaughter, and his tone just changes into this loving, sweet, kind, Marky, Nicole Coley, and Lucia. It means light, and she is the light. She has the sweetness and kindness of what she calls her papa, Steve. And the two of them together are the most cute, mischievous pair that you'll ever want to see. It's beautiful. Steve is very athletic. He not only likes to play sports, he loves to watch sports. I know growing up he was an avid baseball player, soccer player. He went to USC. He put himself through school at USC by working at Certified Grocers. He worked at Albertsons, and he has the USC spirit. Go Trojans. He is obsessed. Every picture you take of Steve, every picture. So he loves USC, he loves the Dodgers, and he loves the Raiders. Go figure. Next year will be the 25th year that Steve has volunteered for the Rose Parade. He has had a multitude of duties, including latrine duty, to escorting the football teams to Lowry's and Disneyland, or I remember he was one of those good humor guys in the little white suit, riding the scooter behind the float. He's done it all. Steve has a passion for fitness. Working out is very important to him. Depending on the season, he's either up swimming in the morning. If it's warm enough, he might be riding his bicycle. Then he'll come in and lift weights. We have a trainer at our credit union. He'll do yoga. He might do yoga after work. And he is probably the most fit person in our entire credit union. Steve has really impacted a lot of people at our credit union through his passion for fitness. He has led the charge, and we have a trainer. And I would say we have 30 to 40 people who regularly use this trainer and work on their own physical well-being. And that's all because of Steve's passion and his example that he sets when it comes to fitness. Steve has been a hero to many people over the years. Years ago, he gave CPR to someone that was in a car accident.
Steve was working, wasn't he? And a boy got hit on a bicycle by a car. I remember that. And he went and did CPR on him. I think saved his life.
He saved the life of a child just the other weekend, and a 2-year-old fell in the pool. He dives in, lifts the kid up, puts him back on the side of the pool before anybody even realizes that the child has fallen in the pool. And that's just who Steve is. He's always paying attention, and he's a hero.
If it wasn't for Steve, I would not be here today. 11 years ago in September, he gave me about 3 million of his blood stem cells to cure me of leukemia. I was treated at the City of Hope in nearby Arcadia. Not only did his stem cells match 100%, they're working fine today. On that day that he came over to give them, I think he went back to work later that day after spending 3 or 4 hours having his blood removed and ran through a machine.
He would give money to the homeless on the street, or he would, take his children to the shelters to help them hand out food.
The one phrase that sticks in my mind that Steve taught me over the years is, it's better to be kind than right. And so many times we get caught up in being right, and you just need to let it go and go for kindness and compassion.
I appreciate you, Steve. I appreciate your stem cells and you being here. And we've done a lot of things together, and hopefully we'll do some more in the years to come. Congratulations on your award.
I was assured he'd probably get something like this. And if anybody deserves it, my brother Steve does.
This is Pat, and I married into the family, and I consider Steve my brother, and I couldn't be more proud. I love him with all my heart.
This is Sister Julie. Congratulations, Steve. We love you, and we're so proud to be here on this day to honor you.
Hello there, Steve and everyone. Well, thank you. I'm so glad you saw these good sides of Steve. I love Steve, and I love all of you too. Thank you so very much for doing this.
Congratulations, Steve.
We love you.
We love you.
Congratulations, big guy.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So Steve, in putting this all together and listening to all the stories about you and talking to your family, and of course working with you for over 12 years now, I've learned that you truly are deserving of this honor and so much more. You are a distinguished citizen, and you're a rare find. So it's not a surprise that the Boy Scouts of America chose you for this wonderful honor. I personally want to thank you for the positive influence you had on me and my life. I'm very grateful to you for being such a great role model and teaching me it is better to be kind than right. So love you, Steve. appreciate you, and namaste.